The story of Dave Ramsey is not just a tale of gaining wealth. It is a narrative of losing it all, hitting a splat at rock bottom, and rebuilding a massive empire on the foundation of that failure. It is a journey from arrogance and debt to humility and financial peace. Dave Ramsey was born in 1960 in Maryville, Tennessee. From a young age, he was driven by a relentless entrepreneurial spirit. At 12 years old, when he asked his father for money to buy a popsicle, his father famously told him, "You are old enough to get a job." That's where money comes from. Taking the lesson to heart, Dave printed 500 business cards and started a lawn care business. By the time he was 18, Dave had his real estate license. While attending the University of Tennessee, he worked 40 to 60 hours a week selling property to pay his way through school. Upon graduation, he dove headfirst into the booming 1980s real estate market. Dave was a natural. He had a knack for finding deals and a stomach for risk. He used aggressive leverage, short-term notes, and lines of credit to build a real estate portfolio. By age 26, Dave Ramsey was a millionaire on paper. He had a net worth of over $1 million, a portfolio worth $4 million, and he was earning more than $250,000 a year. He drove a Jaguar, went on luxury vacations to Hawaii, and seemed to be the embodiment of the American dream. The foundation of Dave's wealth, however, was built on shifting sand. He relied heavily on short-term commercial loans that banks could call, demand full repayment of, at any time. In the late 1980s, the banking industry underwent massive consolidation and regulatory changes. The small local bank that had funded Dave's rise was bought out by a larger institution. When the new bank's auditors looked at the books, they saw a 2006-year-old kid with millions of dollars in debt. They didn't care about his cash flow or his talent. They wanted their money back. They called $1.2 million in loans, giving him only 90 days to pay. Dave spent the next 2.5 years in a desperate white-knuckle fight to save his business. He sold everything he could, but the real estate market was cooling, and the debt avalanche was faster than his sales. The stress was unbearable. He recalls sitting in the shower, crying, as the pressure of the collection calls and the impending loss of his home weighed on him and his wife, Sharon. On September 23, 1988, Dave Ramsey filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. He lost the Jaguar, the investment properties, and his dignity. He was 28 years old, broke and broken. In the aftermath of the splat, Dave went on a quest to understand why he had failed, despite having a degree in finance. He began interviewing wealthy people who had built and kept their money. He also turned to his faith, studying what the Bible had to say about money. He discovered two things that would change his life forever. The mirror. He realized that math wasn't his problem. Behavior was. As he famously says, "I realized that my money problems began and ended with the person in my mirror." The truth about debt. He found that the Bible never spoke of debt as a blessing. It called the borrower a slave to the lender. Dave and Sharon, Dave's wife, committed to a new way of life. They vowed never to borrow money again. They drove beaters, old, high-mileage cars, lived on beans and rice, began to rebuild their lives, $1 at a time, using common sense principles. While working as a realtor to pay the bills, Dave began sharing his hard-earned lessons. After church one day, a man asked Dave for financial advice. Dave sat down with him and his wife at a rickety card table in his living room and helped them build a budget. This was the birth of the Lampo Group, now Ramsey Solutions. In 1992, Lampo is the Greek word for light, reflecting Dave's mission to provide hope to those in financial darkness. His rise from there was a slow, steady climb. 1992, he self-published his first book, Financial Peace. 1992, he started a local radio show in Nashville called The Money Game. 1994, he launched Financial Peace University, a life-changing curriculum for churches and community groups. 2003, he published The Total Money Makeover, which became a first New York Times bestseller and defined his 7 baby step system. Today, Dave Ramsey's rags to riches story has come full circle. He is the head of Ramsey Solutions, a company with over 1,000 employees based on a massive campus in Franklin, Tennessee. His radio show, The Ramsey Show, reaches over 18 million listeners weekly. His net worth is estimated to be well over $200 million, with some estimates suggesting it is much higher due to his vast, debt-free real estate holdings. However, the rich part of his story this time is different. It wasn't built on 90-day notes or Jaguar-sized egos. It was built on the boring principles of saving, budgeting, and avoiding debt. Dave Ramsey's story proves that rock bottom can be a firm foundation. He went from a millionaire slave to a bankrupt outcast, only to rise again as a champion for the debt-free life. His journey serves as a reminder that while you can't go back and change the beginning, you can start where you are and change the ending.